Good morning and welcome back to Casual Camping and Outdoors. I'm still in West Virginia with my dad. So the video series that I had intended on doing when I was up here was going to be like a trip day 1, day 2, day 3 through our week here and show you the activities we had gotten into, the area that we were in, and so forth. But Dad and I have been so involved in visiting with family and seeing the sights and tromping around in the woods that my filming hasn't been as consistent as I had intended. So I apologize for that, but the video you're about to see is kind of a hodgepodge of clips that I made up here in some country that is just as pretty as heaven. So I hope you'll stay tuned, and again, I apologize that this is not the video series that I had originally intended, but maybe you'll enjoy the footage as well. Thanks for joining us, and let's take a look. Welcome back to Casual Camping and Outdoors. I hope you will excuse the goofy angle of this video, but as you can probably tell, I'm driving. I'm headed over to my dad's house, and when I get there, he and I are going to be leaving in his motorhome for a week in the mountains of West Virginia. It's just going to be me and him. Dad is 86 years old this year, and he is still relatively spry and able-bodied, and he'd like for us to take a trip up there because he has some property that he's leaving to me one of these days, hopefully in the far distant future. But he wants me to know where the property is and how to get there, because it is in kind of a remote area in the mountains of West Virginia. It's been in the family now since he was a young man. He bought it while he was in the Navy, and one day is going to be mine, and this just gives us a good excuse for him and I to go spend some time up in his home state of West Virginia, visit with family and friends up there, and spend a little time together. He and I don't get as much time as we would like, because as many of you know, I'm a truck driver, so I'm gone a lot, and what little bit of time I do have here, I typically spend with the boys, and he and I meet for lunch once a week. But this will be the first vacation that we've taken together in, I don't know, 15 years, maybe more, but it's been a long time. It's been way overdue, so we're very excited. And I figure I'll go ahead and film a few videos while we're up there, and this is the beginning of day 1. So I'm headed to Dad's. I got all my stuff packed in the truck. We're going to be towing his little Jeep behind the motorhome, and we're going to be staying at a campground up there called Rippling Waters. If you look it up, you Google Rippling Waters Campground in Kenna, West Virginia, Kena. I've never been to that particular campground, but Dad has been there a number of times. I've looked at the pictures and the website. It's absolutely beautiful. It's an absolutely gorgeous area, and we'll be taking a look at that this week in our video series as well. So here we go. Day 1 of Dad and I's trip to the mountains of West Virginia. Stay tuned. And Dad and I have made it to the Virginia Welcome Center. Take a look at the area behind me. What a pretty view. So anyway, we stayed at a Flying J travel center or truck stop or whatever you want to call it these days in South Carolina on I-77 last night. We stopped there and fueled the motorhome and ate dinner at Denny's, and got up early this morning and took off, and we probably still got another 5 hours of driving to go. Traffic yesterday was bad, and we suddenly realized it was the Friday before Mother's Day weekend, so that's probably why traffic was heavy. But I'm going to walk out here on this little boardwalk. It overlooks the parking area, and show you the motorhome. Here, take a look. That's the little motorhome we're traveling in, and the Jeep we're towing behind it. And you're just starting to be able to see the hills there in the background. Well, break time's about over, so off we go. One of these days I'll get back up here and I'll never leave it again. Hell, I may not go home. Just let me off on the side of the road. I'll take my backpack and go that way. I'll see you next year. Yeah. Write a book when you get back. Pull a Horace Kephart. Something in the bloom there on that back. Purple blossoms. John, I would take some video and some pictures for him while we were up here. That's a beautiful view, isn't it? Yes, it is. You'll want to take some pictures around Rippling Waters when we get there. Oh yeah. That little church over by the lake. Pretty sight. It's a good place to take a walk out along the creek. Okay, so I'm out in the middle of the woods, and supposedly there is a cemetery out here that is my family cemetery. It takes a four-wheel drive, which we don't have. Dad's Jeep is only two-wheel drive. But the roads are dry, or sort of. So we're going to try it, and we're going to go out here and see if we can find this cemetery. Alright, there's the Jeep trail we had to come down. Here's the cemetery. Boy, that wind is kicking up. And as you can see, mountains in the background. We are way the hell out in the middle of nowhere. I hiked down here because Dad's going to be coming with the Jeep. And there he comes. But I wanted to walk down here before we brought the Jeep down here and got stuck. And it looks like we did find the family cemetery. When I said the wind was blowing. Wow. Okay, I'm back at the Rippling Waters campground, and that's the main office building behind me. I'll tell you what, I cannot recommend this campground highly enough. The people here are just tremendously friendly and helpful, and the entire campground is just immaculate. So if you're looking to travel in the southern West Virginia or central West Virginia area, take a look at the Rippling Waters Campground. I'll put the website in the description below. But it's absolutely gorgeous, and they have just bent over backwards to accommodate us. When we were first coming up here, they didn't have a reservation available for a full week for full hookups, and the owners here juggled things around. You know, my dad has stayed up here 100 times before. He's been up here for months at a time, so he's kind of a frequent customer, so to speak. But he called up and said, well, if you can put together a week's worth of a spot for us, we'd appreciate it. And they just bent over backwards to accommodate us. So I love this place. This is my first visit to this campground, and like I said, I just can't say enough good things about it. But I'm hiking up this little pathway here, and there's this little church. It's more of a chapel. It's not a church where they have Sunday meeting services. They do like weddings and such, and it's right along this lake. You can see it behind me, but I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see full screen. How beautiful. And this is the view of the lake from the door of the chapel. And I don't know if you can see it but right on the other side there, all you see is my finger, there's another pond. And they do have fishing in these ponds. You can fish in these ponds. And just how beautiful. And the chapel door is unlocked. Read the sign. And you can see it's just a few rows of pews. Microphone, pulpit. Like I said, this is I don't think they have Sunday services here. At least this is Sunday today, and they didn't have a service today, so I believe this is just for weddings and such. Beautiful little building. And we'll close that up. If you're getting a whole lot of wind noise, I apologize. It is really windy out here right now. Well, and it's starting to rain, so I'm going to hoof it back to the campsite.